The reason why I never jumped on the Tabitha Brown hate train is one, I just always kind of felt like the reasons that people didn't like Tabitha Brown were not of any real sustenance. And then two, I felt like so much of the critique that was coming from Tabitha Brown saying, hey, support Target, like there's black owned brands in here, we're going to be greatly impacted if you do not support and buy from Target, was there is a continuum with Black Americans to where we want you to struggle and we want you to suffer like the rest of us, right? Like we're clapping for you until you're in a position, right? And this is something that we can see across all fields, right? I always use the example of Colin Kaepernick, and I know I said I'm not going to talk about celebrities, but this is just a short. I always use the example of Colin Kaepernick because he was someone who did protest, he did boycott, he did stand up. And what did he get for that today? What did the Black community give Colin Kaepernick for all of the sacrifice? What did he get for that? He got nothing. He lost out on his whole livelihood. Okay, and so I just feel like there is a continuum where we kind of have this attitude of like, you sacrificed your livelihood, we're not going to replace it, we're not going to do anything, we're not going to show up, we're not going to gravitate towards your own independent brand or product or whatever the case may be, but we expect you to sacrifice for us, right? And I'm not saying sacrifice for us in sense of like, something's wrong and you're not advocating and you're not speaking out. I just think when you start talking about one individual person versus Target and Target's buying power, first of all, let me just say this. Black people are still shopping at Target, right? Like, sure, Target may not be shopping in, people may not be shopping in higher numbers, but I think that is mostly just due to the current state of the economy. But there are so many Black-owned brands still in Target, not just Tabitha Brown. And so I just never really understood why people dislike Tabitha. And perhaps, for me, I'm always going to take a step back because y'all know I don't really get into celebrity beef. And perhaps I am not so overly invested in Tabitha that, for me, I just feel like on the surface, it's like, what has this person done individually, right? Specifically, that would, really warrant such a serious hate train. You know what I mean? Because the message and her, opinions about Target and its brand and so forth, I think that's very valid. Like, and I think that's something that I really dislike about the Black community as a whole is that when there are persons in power, we expect them to sacrifice everything, but we have the time in the day and we're not going out and doing anything for the community, but you expect someone who worked extremely hard to sacrifice it all for you, but you wouldn't do the same if you were in that position. And I feel like, we have a way of taking and removing Blackness and isolating people who succeed,